Instruction at Jackson Pathways High School and 11th grade assistant principal of the high school, Willie Lewis. Willie, welcome to our show.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
Great to have Willie back. Willie, we probably should, for those viewers that are not familiar with Jackson Pathways High School, kind of give us a thumbnail sketch of what it is.
Yep, Jackson Pathways High School was originally established as a career-oriented high school. We looked at our student population and we recognized that we had a subset of students that were not as successful as we wanted them to be in the traditional model. And one of the things that we sort of honed in on is that they couldn't find their why when they were at the high school. Mm-hmm. And so we crafted Jackson Pathways with this mindset of sort of pointing them in the right direction as early as possible, sort of taking away some of those electives that sort of get in the way, that the students didn't find any relevance in, and giving them an opportunity to jump right into a career pathways. And so our electives are more geared towards a career pathways. We have co-op and we have some electives that have the students doing more hands-on things instead of like your traditional psychology or sociology or some of the other elective classes that are out there.
And it's kind of pretty much the education system moving away from the name alternative high school.
Right. And rightfully so. They're still your students in your district. And so what we recognized as well is that those students were sometimes off in their own little cubbyhole. And so we brought those students back to Jackson High, the pathway students, and we have them in the basement of Jackson High. It's a school within a school model. The beautiful thing about it is that they are a part of all of our sports teams. They can have access to the prom and all of the other things that a traditional alternative setting would have cut a student out of. So we're happy to have them downstairs with us right now.
Great. We were just talking about top teachers. We've got a couple of your teachers we want to salute. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Two of your teachers, Ray Savicki and Janelle Hasselbeck. Sanker.
Yeah, they both are fantastic educators, and we are happy that they were selected and they made the cut, right? Mm-hmm. And they do the work every day, so they deserve deserve all the accolades that they can get.
And I think this is Janelle's second or third time in the top teachers.
Wow, that I didn't know.
Yeah. She's amazing.
I know when they came to walk through the classrooms, they were amazed at what was happening in the classrooms as well. Those that were on the committee.
Yeah, it's pretty intense what the teachers go through as they're being evaluated for this honor.
Yeah.
By the way, you've got how many kids in school right now?
We have, in school, we just graduated our second oldest, our first daughter. This is our second graduate from Albion College. She just graduated cum laude. We're pretty proud of her as well. Yeah, that wasn't next to everyone's name in our family when we graduated. So we have one that's at that level. And then we have one that's at U of M, running track and track. And then we have one that's another at Albion College who's a lacrosse player and environmental science major. And then we have two that are still in high school. And so Nancy and I have our hands full right now.
Yeah. Retirement isn't in your near future.
That's not something we talk about that often right now. Yeah.
Well, we were talking before the show as to how busy a time this busy a time of year this is.
Yeah.
And you've got how many more? You counting down the days?
Not quite counting down the days. I'm looking at the days and thinking I only have 5 weeks left to get things done. There's a lot to do. We have a lot of work to do towards planning for next year. A lot of loose ends that we need to tie up and getting these kids across the stage, and that takes a Herculean effort on the part of everyone.
Yeah, and not just across the stage, but once they leave that stage into a job, into a career.
Exactly.
We've got I know some programs that are at Jackson High and Pathways specifically for that. One thing you guys are doing again this year is a job fair. Yep,
we're able to, post-COVID, and so now we're starting the planning phase, and we were able to put together a job fair. It was the brainchild of Kevin Blair. He's our co-op and career teacher in Pathways, and Andy Turner is one of our business tech instructors at Jackson High. And so it's a collaboration actually between Jackson High and Pathways. And they were able to connect with Connie Paisan from Junior Achievement. Yeah. And put together a pretty awesome non-traditional job fair. They kind of flipped the script on the whole model. One of the things that was really neat about it is that instead of having just having folks walk around an open space and walk up to tables, we had presenters come to the classroom beforehand. Mm-hmm. And that way they could have a personal touch. And we had about 8 presenters. They were from all over the Jackson County. We had the rec department, we had Michigan Works, we had Henry Ford Health Allegiance, Excel staffing, we had credit unions were there, and rec department. One of the things that was noticeable about the groups when they were there is that they sent representatives of those that were connected in some way to the city of Jackson. Mm-hmm. And so the students were able to see someone that they can point to and say, I know that guy. But then they would tell their story. And time again, what came out was they've made it this far, and they were down here when they first started. And they've used the space called public schools, and for a lot of them it was Jackson High, to help launch them into these places. And you could see the realization and the wheels turning in the kids' minds that they could actually make this same leap to be a leader in some form or fashion in the community.
Yeah, with a need for employers to get some talent, they're more engaged too.
Oh yeah, most definitely. We had about 25 vendors that were there, and even the way we set up the vendors that were there, the theme was summer and beyond. That's what we were sort of leaning into. And what we were looking for is a way to connect all of those individual organizations, Michigan Works, Rec Department, all of those folks that come to us and say, we have jobs that are available. Can you connect us with some students? We said, well, why not find a spot and put those students and those employers in the same space with the intent of helping those students get a job for this summer, and for those that want a career to go beyond that as well. And we were able to do that in that same space, and it was pretty neat to see that. So the students, one of the things that happened is the students would walk up and they had specific questions. Rather than having it as the vendor towards the students walked up and they were trained to hand off the resume, to talk about what type of jobs do you have to offer, and how do I get in touch with you if they can't land the job right there, who else do I need to talk to afterwards? So it's a pretty neat experience.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if some kids got hired right on the spot.
Yeah, that was neat to see. Yeah.
All right, some programs that you have, pretty neat and unique. One is called AVID, and this is not just Jackson High, but it goes into the middle school as well.
Yes, middle school at Parkside. Yep, we started the program at Jackson High, and now we have a connecting program at middle school at Parkside. AVID stands for Advancement via Individual Determination, and the idea behind it is that it's a program that targets our middle of the population. Oftentimes we have programs that are available for our upper level kids, and we have at-risk programs, and this is that sort of lost middle. Mm-hmm. And what this program offers is an opportunity for us to pull those students that we know have the acumen to be successful, but they don't necessarily feel comfortable taking the leap into an AP or an honors course. Well, what we do is we place them in this AVID program, and we provide them with the skills necessary to be comfortable in that space and to feel like that's a place that they can be successful as well. And so each of these students they're grouped together. So all of the 9th graders are together, and then we have our 10th and 11th is a smaller cohort, so they're together. And then what happens is you're able to say, well, I see you and you're another student just like me, so we're comfortable and now in AP US History. And we tie that with experiential opportunities, because we know we want to open their eyes to what's possible. So these students that typically wait until their senior year to start doing college visits, we've already gone to Wayne State, we've already gone to JC, we've already gone to Oakland University. We just came back from a play up at the Wharton Center, and then we took them in the Lansing area to have lunch so that they can have a wider array of experiences to draw upon and to start aiming their sort of career in a different direction.
So what's the hoped for outcome for for students in AVID.
Yep. So for all of those students, the end goal is to get them into a college or career that they're interested in, especially sparking interest in something that they may not have thought that was capable for them. What we notice often is that those students, they don't think about this what's going to happen in 5 years. They think more or less about what's currently in front of them, and they go from day to day. And then hopefully at the end of 4 years, they go, well, wait a minute, I am capable of going into electrical engineering or journalism or chemistry, because they found that, you know, with this hard work that we're asking them to do, because we're asking them to step their game up, they're capable.
Yeah, and I know that you guys are doing that because we've had a few Jackson High students reach out to us with interest in video or photography or production or journalism and news. And it's been a while since we've heard from Jackson High students, you know, with interest in this field. So it's nice to see the, I guess, taking the initiative on the students' part. And I know that's something you're driving them to do.
We're all working towards that goal. You know, it feels like the whole of Jackson High is leaning into how do we come out of this COVID era and start to supercharge where our students are headed. And
all right, the word hype, Jackson Public Schools uses hype, believe the hype.
Yes.
Yeah, but there's actually a program called HYPE. What is that? And that's an acronym like AVID is.
Yes, it stands for Helping Young People Evolve. Myself and Mr. Coffey are two of the principals that are at Jackson High, and we started the program last year with the intent of getting our young men, especially the young men that we feel like need some guidance and need some understanding of how to navigate this thing called high school and do it well. And both of us were we're recent graduates, I guess, of Jackson High, if you want to call it that. Well, not necessarily recent. We'll get in. Yeah. But because we both navigated this space, we thought we could give some insight. Things don't change that much. It feels like circumstances are different, but how do you figure out how to socialize with your buddies and still be academic? How do you manage sports and still be successful in the classroom? Those types of considerations are universal. So we try to help our young men by giving them an opportunity to get together and talk through some of those issues at the same time. And then getting them off campus. We just took the group of young men to Chicago to the auto show, and that was a neat experience. First time on a train for a lot of those young men, and then first time at auto show. So, and we know that those types of opportunities are not just about the auto show. They're about seeing the bigger picture of the world, and the young men are better for it. We're getting ready to take the group to the Wright. It's the Wright African American Museum up in Detroit, and we're going to visit a college campus on the way back. So looking forward to that as well.
Nice. So you graduated from Jackson High.
Yes.
And you were an athlete.
I was.
Yeah,
yes.
A big star athlete.
Yeah, if you want to call it that. Yeah.
So what was the experience like when you look at these programs like HYPE and AVID and Men of Merit? None of those existed when you were at Jackson High.
Well, it's funny you say that, because one of the differentiating factors for myself was that Alan Dresselhaus, who was a principal at the time, he placed me in a program that was similar to AVID, that I went up to Michigan State, and they opened my eyes to the possibility of what could happen if you did well in class. And that changed my complete future at that point. And I think I was at Jackson High for about a year, and I called Mr. Dresselhaus up and thanked him for doing that. Now, this is 30 years later that he hears a thank you, but it's a thankless job, right? But these types of programs are critical for helping students to imagine something that they don't necessarily think of as a possibility for themselves.
Yeah, it's great to hear you say that about Mr. Dresselhaus, who's one of the kindest people ever in education.
Yes, most definitely. And there's plenty of other folks that I could mention at Jackson Public in my career, but that's the one that I can point to that says this is where the train turned left instead of going straight. So.
Neat. Well, hopefully everybody gets that experience and has a successful last few weeks of school. And best wishes to your class of 2023.
Yeah, thank you.
Good
Thank
to see you, Willie.
Yeah,
Thanks.
great to see you as well.
Willie Lewis is Principal for Instruction for Jackson Pathways at Jackson High School and 11th grade Assistant Principal at J High. Stay with us. We've